In this video, we're going to explore primary and secondary pumps used in chiller plant systems. In large buildings, chilled water is circulated to remove heat from the indoor spaces. To move this chilled water from the chiller to the AHUs located throughout the building, pumps are used. There are two main types of pumps installed in a chiller plant: the primary pump and the secondary pump. In this video, we'll clearly understand how both of these pumps work. Generally, there are two categories of chiller water systems. The first one is the primary chilled water system, and the second is the primary-secondary chilled water system. In a primary chilled water system, only a single pump, the primary pump, circulates the water between the chiller and the AHUs. In a primary-secondary system, both primary and secondary pumps are used to move chilled water between the chiller and the AHU network. Let's start with the primary chilled water system. The return water from the AHUs flows into the return header line. The primary pump then draws this water from the header and pushes it into the chiller. After being cooled, the chilled water exits the chiller and enters the supply header. From there, it's distributed to the AHUs across the building. Once the water passes through the AHUs, it returns back to the chiller through the primary pump. This circulation happens continuously. The primary pump alone handles the entire loop. Since the primary system relies on just one pump for the whole circulation, its overall efficiency is lower compared to the primary-secondary system. That's why this setup is typically used only for small-scale applications. In this arrangement, when a VFD, variable frequency drive, is installed on the primary pump, a two-way valve is provided at the AHU. But if there's no VFD, then a three-way valve is installed instead. And that explains the operation of a primary chilled water system. Now, let's move on to the primary-secondary chilled water system. In this type of system, two pumps are used to circulate water throughout the loop. One is the primary pump, and the other is the secondary pump. This configuration is used for large commercial buildings. Two pumps are necessary because water has to travel long distances within the piping network. The water returning from the AHUs reaches the header line at a temperature of about 11 degrees Celsius. The primary pump takes suction from the header and pushes that water into the chiller. The primary pump operates at a constant speed, ensuring the chiller always receives a steady flow rate. The chilled water leaving the chiller comes out at around 6 degrees Celsius, and it flows into the header line again. The secondary pump then sends this chilled water from the header to the AHUs in the building. The return water from those AHUs is drawn back toward the chiller by the primary pump. This cycle keeps running continuously. Inside the header line, there are two separate chambers. Because of this, the chilled water from the chiller and the return water from the AHU do not mix directly. If a VFD is fitted on the secondary pump, a two-way valve is installed on the AHU. But if the secondary pump runs at a fixed speed without a VFD, then a three-way valve is used instead. That's how the primary-secondary chilled water system operates. Hopefully, this video gave you a clear understanding of what primary and secondary pumps do in a chiller plant. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. And make sure to subscribe to our channel, Intact Knowledge. Thank you for watching.